Panther here. This is gonna be a new chapter in this channel. So I decided, instead of just doing your basic everyday video like I was doing before, where I just go on my computer and set something up for you guys, upload it, leave it there for you guys to watch later or comment on. Well, this is going to be a lot different from that. From now on, majority of my videos are going to be in this format. Little picture for me, unless I'm doing a big vape review or something like that. I'm going to make it so that any of you guys can come on here, join me, chat with me, let me know what you think and what you think about the games I'm playing. The way I see it, if I throw in some games, it also gives you something to watch as well. Today I'm going to be playing the PlayStation 4 not the remake, but the HD remaster of Final Fantasy VII. So far, best PlayStation 1 remake I've played. They obviously realize how much everybody loved Final Fantasy VII. Probably one of the best selling out of all of them. One of my favorite games of all times. Great little feature that they threw in here. You can see down on the left hand side of the screen there how it has the ×3. That's actually to speed up the gameplay. All you do, you click in your left joystick, it speeds up the game, makes it so you can get through a little quicker. They also have two other new features with this game. Actually, we'll say three. The other two features are, if you click the right joystick in, turns on this little fist in the corner. Now that is basically God mode. You instantly get your limit breaks, you heal instantly. Anytime you take damage, you see the damage go down and then it pops right back up. I haven't seen what the effect is yet on one-hit kill, but I would imagine it would just negate the one-hit kill altogether, or it's going to kill you off and revive you or something along those lines. From what I've seen so far, none of the damage lasts as long as that's on. So you can turn that on and off. And you can do that during battles too. So if you get into a battle that happens to be a little bit more difficult, you can just throw that on there, kick the crap out of whatever you're fighting, and carry on with the game. And then throw on your 3x speed to make the battle go faster too. Now, one thing with the ×3, during cutscenes, it does not do anything. During dialogue that is pretty much mandatory or auto-controlled, it will not do anything. There are certain areas it will not work, but it will tell you which areas those are by putting a red X through that little icon down in the left-hand side. Another one, click in both joysticks. That is to turn off all encounters. So, if you're one of those people that loves this game but loves it for the story and just doesn't feel like doing all those little battles in between, this is perfect for you. Go into the game, throw that on. Now you don't have to worry about roaming battles. Now, note on that, if you're not doing roaming battles, what do you think the outcome will be? Less experience gained. Therefore, use this at your own risk. You could be going through the game at level 1. I don't know if I'm pretty sure it wouldn't skip your boss battles, but you never know. Throw that on there. I don't use it myself, but I will give it a try later on in this video just to show you how it works. And I'll even test out the boss mode. See if it actually skips your boss fights or if you still have to do it. I would imagine you would still have to do them though. Okay, so that's it for those new features. And yes, you can turn them all on at once. You can turn them on one at a time. It's all up to you. Going forward, the game looks gorgeous. The cutscenes rendered properly. Don't get very many jumps in the frame rate or anything like that. Generally pretty good. Okay, so going on ahead, the next feature of this, and yes, I will be vaping throughout all my videos. As it says down in the bottom there, this is also a vape review page, and I'll get back into vape news in a little bit. But now with this game, like I said, looks gorgeous. One new feature that I am loving with this game, trophy system. And if you buy the game, you get this nice little background. I know you can't see the screen right now, but you get a new theme. You also have trophies where the dating game that you play in this is featured in it. You'll get trophies for doing your first limit break, things like that. It's all based off the general gameplay that most people that loved Final Fantasy got right into. I mean, we were making achievements for ourselves before there was even an achievement system. So the trophy system in this is just phenomenal to have. Love it. And as I said, being that it's a remaster, most of the remasters from PlayStation 1 are run on little emulators, so it still runs off the same generic or general idea of the PlayStation, the graphics that you'll get off a PlayStation 1, things like that. This just works out that much better. How's it going? First person in here. Okay, so yeah, great game. Loving the fact that they made this remaster, and with the remaster in the starting video here, or the starting page on it, you actually get a extra video, which is a trailer for the remake of Final Fantasy for PlayStation 4. Okay, so I'll leave it at that for the gameplay for now. I want to get into a little bit of vape news that's come up that I heard about recently. As it turns out, I know most of you probably know about this already, but there is some stuff that's been going on with a fellow vlogger, got much more experience than I am, but it seems like Buddy from Rip Trippers has sold out. This hurts me, being new into vape reviews and stuff like that. He was pretty much the guy that got me into it. Started watching his videos right after I got into vaping myself, and I like his videos. He gives a lot of information. He's a bit of a yes man, but we won't go there. I mean, why would you be doing a review on a piece that you bought if you're not going to like the piece? I mean, it is nice to see bad reviews every now and then, but at the same time, it's nice to see good reviews even more, because I want that information. But it turns out, yeah, one of his recent videos is about his side effects of vaping. Now, I'm very big on getting information out there for vapors, and pretty much anything I can think of. If I like it, I'll put the information out there. Now, I've posted a lot of information about some of the chemicals that have been used in vapes and stuff like that. Diacetyl, acetone, AP. There's even now a study that I just recently saw about recent video about, or article I saw about aldehydes, new chemicals that are being found in vapes. Now, I don't know about you, but if you've seen this Rip Trippers video, none of those side effects have ever been listed by any of the studies done. Yeah, it's just ridiculous. He's sitting there, he's talking about how he's getting aches in his forearms. Maybe he's curling too many heavy vapes. Who knows? But that is not a side effect of vaping that I know of. I'm not a doctor. I haven't studied every case that's come up, but honestly, it's pretty bad that you're saying that. That's just him being fat, lazy, as most people have said. These products that he's pushing, I don't know if you look into these at all, or if you follow, or if you do your own vaping research, or anything to do with fitness at all. They're completely bullshit. He is showing you two different products that are used for two completely different things that have nothing to do with the problems he's having. He's going on about just generic, what's it called? Electrolytes. He's got electrolyte powder. Yeah, you use electrolytes when you're dehydrated, but you're not dehydrated if you're drinking 4 gallons of water. Anyways, anybody who's watched this video can pretty much sum it up for themselves. It's a complete sham. The guy's sitting there trying to push products. He breaks out into telling us about how to use them, how many doses to use. It's just ridiculous. It's pretty brutal, considering he is a guy that's out there to put out information for everybody, and people do listen to him. But if you're going to sit there and start giving people false information, that drives me nuts. Like, you can't do that, especially when there's people like me out there that are trying to get this information out to people. Anyways, you guys can go take a look for yourselves. Tell me what you think. I just can't do it myself. It's very disappointing, and I'm gonna say he's lost a subscriber, at least with me, and I know he's lost some with a lot of other people as well too. People are pretty upset about it. Anyways, so that's all I wanted to say on that one. Again, there is a new study that's come out recently. If you know me on Facebook, follow me on Facebook at all, take a look at, I'm just pulling up this article here. Take a look at my page on there, Burlington and Area Vape Corner, or Vape Info Corner. It's pretty good. I've got quite a bit of information on there. I've just recently updated some stuff on there as well. Okay, so the American Vaping Association has recently come out with a study that basically says irresponsible reporting on new study of benzaldehyde in cherry e-cigarettes. So it turns out what happened is there was a study done, another chemical check done on vapes and what's in vape production. What chemicals are being introduced into the vapor and byproducts. Now, aldehydes in general are bad for you. They are carcinogens. They are exactly what we're trying to avoid. Now, that being said, there are a lot of these studies being put out without being put out, or the proper information being put forth. Even this article from the American Vape Association says here that the benzaldehyde that is found in the vape production in both normal vape liquids and cherry flavored vape liquids is at least or greater than 1,000 times less than what you'd find in a general workplace, or what's allowed to be in a general workplace. So you're getting very, very, very minute amount of this, and the FDA, all the testing bodies, they've been doing this on a regular basis with the diacetyl, with the AP, with the acetone, things like that, and formaldehydes even. They come out with these studies that are just so outrageous, just so they can keep control over this because they don't have the regulations in place yet. You get them coming out and saying, oh, well, we've now found traces of this chemical. We've now found traces of that chemical. But what they aren't telling you is what amounts they're finding them in. If you go out and look at the actual vape producers' websites, a lot of them now are coming out with these studies themselves. They're going and getting their own juices tested and putting out this information, breakdowns, actual chemical formulas and things like that to show you what's in their vapes. So all I ask of you guys is to go out, get this information. Go and find it, go and look up your vape producers and things like that. Or go with companies that are known to sell only high-end vape products, like Cold Turkey. I'm a very, very big advocate for Cold Turkey. They've got now 2 new flavors, Illusions and what was the other one? 12 Monkeys. 12 Monkeys and Illusions. Great new flavors, phenomenal. And every single one of the flavors that are carried by Cold Turkey are AP, very, very close to AP free. It's very, very low levels that will not affect you in any way, shape, or form if they are even in there. Diacetyl is not used in any of the flavorings that they use. It's great. I mean, I'm actually not paid by them. This is not a paid advertisement of any sort. I'm just saying, I've gone and done my research. I found out companies like that are safer to use. All you have to do is go on their website. They'll explain it to you. Go into their shops. They'll explain it to you as well. And the staff at Cold Turkey are just phenomenal. They'll give you all the information you need. I only started vaping 6 months ago myself, and already I'm loving it. I've jumped from vaping with pens all the way up to RDAs in the last 6 months. And every step of the way, it's all been Cold Turkey that's been helping me with it. So if you have a Cold Turkey in your area, I suggest drop in, give them a chat. If not, there's other companies out there too. And they will also give you this information if it is a good company. If they don't give you the information, I would stay away from them because they don't know what they're talking about when it comes to vaping. But I mean, Cold Turkey brands themselves are great. The flavors that they carry, the brands that they carry are great as well. They've got a lot of high VG juices as well. If you're a dripper like me that likes to cloud chase a little bit as a hobby, it's awesome. In one of my previous videos, I've actually mentioned you can also go out to places like Goodness Me and any pharmacy and go and pick up the liquids to make your own vapes or vapor e-juices. The nicotine itself, obviously you have to order online. It is a little bit more controlled, but it's still not all that difficult to handle. And I mean, I just recently made about 300 mils of e-juice myself, and it turned out great. You can make it nice and thick with your VG, or you can just do a straight PG. A lot of people do have allergies not a lot of people. A few people have allergies to PG itself. In that case, you can switch straight over to straight VG juice. If you go in and buy this stuff yourself as well, if you get an e-juice that's generally a thinner e-juice, you can just go and add your own VG to it. Just get something with a higher nicotine content. Other than that, yeah. I mean, like I said, just do your research. Make sure you know what you're getting into, and also, again, I'm a huge advocate for this. Stop using unregulated clone mod boxes. The mechanical mod boxes. I've been seeing all over the news recently people going and having them blow up in their pocket and things like that, and it's ridiculous. There's so many different things out there to protect you from that, and also, if you're vaping to the point where your mod box is heating up to like 300 degrees itself, not just your coils, yeah, you've got an issue. Put your box down, stop vaping for a bit. Simple as that. I hate seeing people burning themselves and things like that when, I mean, we're trying to be safer with these. That's the whole point of having mechanical boxes. Yeah. Also a good idea, make sure your RDA is screwed onto your vape. Okay, so last thing I want to touch base on with this is before I get back into the gameplay a bit. Obviously, we're in a little bit of a lull time here. I'm gonna make a couple comments on all this stuff with all this stuff that people have been saying about Trudeau. This has been bothering me for quite some time. Trudeau's been in office for now close to 6 months. However, what people are failing to understand is the first 6 months of any new political position are going to be very difficult for anyone. I understand there have been some mistakes made within the last 6 months that, or what people see as mistakes made in the last 6 months. I'm sorry, but you can't just turn around and start attacking a politician like that without actually seeing what they're gonna do. Okay, he's inherited a lot of crap from the previous parliament. Now, I'm not saying he's perfect. Obviously, no one's perfect. There's things that he's said and done that I don't agree with myself. But I'm gonna say right now, he was the best choice at the time. Okay, you've got Mulcair, who can't make up his mind for anything. Took him twice the amount of time to actually come out and tell everybody what his platform was. Goes out to press conferences and things like that, completely unprepared. And not only that, he wants to bring in twice the number of refugees that than either of the other politicians wanted to bring in. Okay, that's just ridiculous. Secondly, you got Harper. Well, I don't think that a lot needs to be said about Harper and why Harper just is not the right person for us. After 3 recessions, I think it speaks for itself. And then you got Trudeau, and he was like the happy medium. Wanted to bring in refugees, but didn't want to bring in too many. He stuck with the original 10,000 that were coming in, increased it by another 10. Who cares? It's Canada. That's shit we do. I don't agree with it, but whatever. Now, you can have that and take it as you will, but you also have to understand that when he walked in, he also had a huge deficit that was underreported by the previous parliament as well. So all I'm saying is people need to relax, sit back, watch what he's going to do for a bit. Don't freak out. Don't blame everything on the guy right off the bat. Yes, he's going to make mistakes. He's a young politician, but he's our generation's politician. Okay? On a note on the US election, who the fuck are these people voting for Trump? Are you retarded? You're going to kill your country even worse than it is. Like, I am seeing people sit there and go, oh, well, who cares what other countries think about our politicians? You should. Who the hell do you think your economy comes from? Look at what's going on in Russia right now. Russia's economy is going through hell because we've been sanctioning the hell out of them. What do you think is going to happen when you start pissing people off by electing a politician who's completely retarded? Like, I'm sorry, the guy's a good businessman, but you want to keep your country and business separate. How are you going to do that with a businessman as your president? Not to mention, he's racist as fuck. He doesn't understand how immigration laws work properly. Like, the guy's a joke. Every video I've seen of him just blows my mind. It's completely ridiculous. Like, I just don't understand it. Obviously, I welcome your comments on it. I mean, if you support Trump, you can try to tell me why and explain it, but I'm sorry, but that guy's just a retard. It's ridiculous that anybody would ever vote for him. And especially if you're into video games like this, you've seen people like Trump throughout all your video games. He's the bad guy in all the Call of Duties. He's the bad guy in all the Battlefield games. He's the bad guy in pretty much every game that you see. The megalomaniac that runs an empire in businesses and turns around and tries to become a politician afterwards, and then run the country and the world. Like, it's just, I don't understand how people are falling for his bullshit. Sorry for having my phone out here. I'm just trying to, as I said, this is my first video blog, especially first interactive one. I'm just trying to keep my thoughts in line, so I'm not going on complete tangents here. But yeah, I just don't understand this whole Trump thing. Going on from that, I gotta say, we just had something amazing happen with the Canadian economy in the sense that it's not amazing, like it wasn't a huge change, but with all this bullshit with people going after Trudeau, we had the Canadian economy went up. I'm trying to find this article here. I think it was a 88% increase. It wasn't quite as big as what the US one was, but it was still... You can't say that our politicians running our country into the ground and blame a crisis on us, or a crisis on him, a financial crisis, an economic crisis on him, if Canada's GDP just grew 0.8% in the fourth quarter. That's the first quarter that Trudeau was in Parliament. We've had record losses for the last, 5 years, 6 years? I mean, 10 if you really want to get technical. But I mean, we've had losses non-stop. And now our economy, or our GDP, just happens to pop up after spending was put into our infrastructure, which we needed, which Trudeau promised to do right off the bat. Funny. And yet, Trudeau still has time to go snowboarding. Right? Like, the guy's our generation. What politician do you know that went snowboarding on weekends? Like, it's just ridiculous what people are willing to blame on politicians right off the bat without any actual knowledge into what's going on. Another thing going on right now, Senate report just came out warning about a crisis of obesity in Canada. Apparently children and adults are 3 and 10 times higher obese, or have 3 to 10 times higher obesity rates since the 80s. That's kind of scary, but understandable at the same time. Now, anybody that knows people that were growing up back in the 80s now are going through a situation where our generation of people understood fitness. The generation before us, not so much. It was all new innovations when it came to food, fast food, GMOs, all that stuff. I can see it happening. It's my mom's generation. It's your parents' generation. They just take the easy route because they're all working class for the most part. You do what's quick, what's easy, get canned food. You love these new vegetables that are twice the size. That's another big thing. We have innovations now, like vaporizers, like new fitness apps for phones. You've got these new watches that are out there tracking your fitness at all times. We've got restaurants out that are now putting calorie counters. We're doing everything possible to make sure that people have this information available to them. They know how to keep themselves healthy. It would just be a lot greater if people would just start using that information. It just doesn't happen. Really, it just doesn't. People just don't care about it anymore. Which is fucked up, because people in our generation, you see all these guys that are fitness nuts all over Facebook. They want this information. Or they want to be out there being healthy, showing off their lifts and all this other stuff. Like, it's going both ways at once, and it's kind of cool, kind of scary at the same time. Like, I like to see how these studies progress over the next few years, because I can see fitness and health being a major aspect. That being said, I don't like the idea of new taxes being put out on sugary foods and stuff like that. Don't do that. Don't tax people to try to deter them from stuff. What you want to do is get information out to the masses. The best way to combat things like this is get more information out there. Okay, so go out, teach parents about how much these crappy foods are affecting their kids, and show them how it's affecting their kids, and show them cost-effective ways of countering it and cost-effective ways of going around it. People don't need shitty food like this, but at the same time, people can't afford the expensive good food. Like, it's ridiculous, and food costs are increasing even more. I mean, it was just in the newspaper the other day that food costs were going up in Canada, and it's just ridiculous. Yeah, it's insane. Another thing today that I'm just seeing is Canada's now getting upset because donations for the Syrian effort are not going through very well. I'm sorry, but how much money do we need to give the Syrian refugees? It's just... It's just ridiculous. I mean, there's no reason that we need to be giving this much money away, or donating even more money, when we're already giving up how much of our resources to them. We're giving them funding, we're giving them all that. Yes, I know it's not as high as what everybody seems to think it is. Yes, I know it's not higher than the pension rates, but at the same time, this is like, it's their own doing. I'm sorry, but if you can sit there and tell me that less than 10%, if you can tell me that less than 10% of your religion and your people are moderate Muslim and not extremists, how the hell did you allow a relatively small extremist party to grow into such a huge threat in your country? Like, I'm sorry, but Canada constantly fights off terrorist threats. The US constantly fights off terrorist threats. The UK constantly fights off terrorist threats. You can't do the same in your own country. You've got to run away to other countries when you live in a country that allows you to all own weapons. It allows you to take up arms if you need to. I mean, your religion itself puts you into a position where you can't stop this shit from happening. I'm not going to get into the religious aspect of it just because, well, we know why it's going to cause massive problems. Yeah, it's just mind-blowing. And yet you want to sit there and ask us to donate this, donate that. Especially with Kathleen Wynne's her party alone sitting there fucking telling us that we should donate our tax returns to fight the deficit in Ontario. I'm sorry, but you guys screwed that up. You fix it yourself. I hold my government to that standard. Why the hell wouldn't I hold another country's government to that same standard? If you guys have a problem in your own country, get off your asses, go and deal with it. I served 7 years in the Canadian Armed Forces. If we had a problem like that, we go and deal with it. That is how Afghanistan started. No, it wasn't a fucking American propaganda bullshit or run for oil. We were in Afghanistan. We started Afghanistan. We finished Afghanistan. The US came in and screwed it all up, as per usual. Alright? Stop believing all this crap that's being shoveled down your throats. Learn to use your brain and do your own research. If you had have done that, you would know that Afghanistan only occurred because we had peacekeepers over there being attacked because of all the stuff that was happening in Iraq. They saw us, Western forces, just assumed that we were in the same league. This rant's just going on forever. So, all in all, it's pretty ridiculous what's going on out there. There's a lot that can be done to change it. We all need to get off our asses and actually influence change from here on out. It's just got to be done that way and that way only. Nothing's going to change if we start sitting there and bitching. If everybody's just going to sit around and bitch, then that's all that's going to ever be accomplished. So, do me a favor. I want you to comment below a couple causes even just in Ontario or Canada or in general that you want me to talk about or even want me to front. I tell people all the time, the best way to get things changed is to get your word out there, start sending out letters, start talking to your parliament. It's the only way things will change. You can sit there and pass blame all you want and sit there and bitch, but until you actually get off your ass and do something about it, nothing will change. As a former member of the Canadian Armed Forces, I've gone and petitioned the government for the changes in Ontario that we are seeing right now when it comes to veterans. Veterans and serving members being able to take driver's qualifications and transfer them over to Civicide. It should have been like that a long time ago. I know it was like that before graduated licensing came in. Now that it's gone, or now that I mean, I've pushed with my member of parliament, my member of provincial parliament, sat there and said, hey, let's get this pushed through. Let's make it easier for Canadian Forces members that are leaving the forces or even as reservists, so that they can use their training, get jobs in the civilian world, and be able to support themselves and actually support our economy as well. We need truck drivers and intelligent truck drivers out there. We need people that are going to be able to go out and drive pump trucks for firefighters and things like that. It's common sense. I don't understand why it took so much lobbying to get it done. But I'm definitely going to be coming back on here in a bit to start up another video just into the gameplay of this. I mentioned earlier that there's a bunch of new features that I want to try out with you guys and show you how they work, including the 3x speed, which apparently works on this cutscene. Shut up. Check out the new no encounter mode and see what we can do with the limit break mode. Like I said, it's pretty cool, the new features that they brought in here. The videos, cutscenes are great. I can't wait to share that with you. And the combat is just the same. Good old Final Fantasy VII. Alright, so for now, take it easy. Keep vaping, and blessed be. Tempest Panther out.